Welcome to Pattern History, Sewing Silk Ribbon Binding. Here's a supplies you'll be needing. You'll be needing silk ribbon. I don't recommend using synthetics since they don't seem to press as nicely. I usually use between 3/8 and 1/2 inch ribbon, and since this is going to be pressed in half, you need to take your width into consideration when choosing. You'll also need some fabric, the fabric that you want to be bound. That can be anything between tulle, netting, silk organza, silk chiffon, anything that you want to apply this to. You'll also need a sewing machine. You'll also need a size 10 needle. A size 10 needle is great because it's a smaller needle and it works really great for these really fine fabrics. Also, you'll need a fine thread or silk sewing thread, whichever one you tend to have that's a better quality. Alright, so let's begin. Step 1. Press your silk ribbon. Basically what you're going to do is press your ribbon in half along the length so that it forms 2 plies. Don't worry about it, this process tends to take a little bit of time, but that's okay and completely normal when you first begin. I recommend trying it out, getting used to it first before you just go diving into it, because it can be a little bit tricky at first. Step 2 begins the sewing. You're going to use the ribbon as binding, like you would any other bias binding. So you would open the ribbon and place the fabric between the 2 plies. Make sure to get the fabric as far into the ribbon as you can. You want to give the fabric enough to grab onto so that it doesn't pull out. So you're going to stitch as closely to the edge as possible. I recommend going slow at first because it's not a rush and you don't want to run off the edge and make it look all messy. When you get to the end, you're going to gently press the ribbon and then you're good to go. Just wanted to show another view of the sewing process and also to show sewing the binding on a curve. Basically, it's going to be the same as when you're sewing on the straight, just you're going to have to stop every so often in order to raise the presser foot so that you can pull the fabric back in along the curve. The curve is generally on the bias of the fabric, so it tends to stretch a little bit, so that's kind of to our benefit, and you can stretch it a little bit. I just tend not to pull too hard, otherwise you'll end up getting that lettuce edge on the ribbon, and that may not be exactly what you're looking for. So just stretch slightly and sew. So other than that, it's pretty good. All you have to do is give it a light press at the end, and then it's finished. So there you have it. This application actually has a lot of uses. You can use it anywhere that you normally would bias bind to any edge, like necklines or sleeve hems or any sort of sheer overlay. The only difference is now you're using 3/16 of an inch as opposed to anything clunky like a 1/4 of an inch or a 1/2 inch. It can also be used in a contrast manner, which gives a beautiful decorative edge to any sort of fabric, including solid shears or netting, which looks pretty great. So that's about it. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great time sewing. Thanks again. Bye.